Hi and welcome to Lois and Morgana Davidson Art. I'm continuing today to show you some older demos, some of my favourites that I've painted for you here on YouTube. And this one is a lighthouse in Ireland, and I'll try and see if I can find the reference photograph for you on Pixabay. I'm painting it as a line and wash, so I'll be sketching it out first in pencil and then going over my pencil sketch with waterproof fine liners. This is the photograph that inspired me, and it's quite an atmospheric photograph. I'm not taking it literally, I'm just being inspired by it and coming up with my own sort of interpretation of the scene. So here's the very simple pencil sketch, literally just a few outlines, a little bit of shading, and I'm going to use a Pigma Micron, I think it's a 0.3 size pen, to go over the outline, and then I shall graduate to thicker nibbed pens to add some shading and shadow and build up the line work for this line and wash painting until I'm happy with the contrasts and the shading, so that then I'll be able to put the paint in and let the line work create the structure and really help to make this painting pop. So that's the line work and all the shading done. So I've got my darkest darks and a lot of my midtones in using the shading. I've also painted masking fluid over the lighthouse and the buildings so that I can keep them white and paint freely over them. It's difficult to see it here because my masking fluid in this case is not tinted. I think the paper here is Saunders Waterford cold pressed watercolour paper, and it's taped to my board, and my board's at an angle of about 30 degrees. And then using a large Harkey brush, but any wash brush will do, I'm going to paint the scene wet in wet to start with. So I'm wetting most of the page, wetting all of the sky, leaving a few dry patches in the land, and that should give me some nice soft and hard edges when I loosely paint in my first washes of colour. The colours I'm using today will be Raw Sienna, Cobalt Violet Deep, Payne's Grey, Sepia and Perylene Green. So that's all the first wet in wet washes done. I've laid my board flat so that the paint won't move around too much, and now I'm going to leave it to dry completely. And as soon as it's dry, then I'll raise my board up to about 20-30 degrees, and I'll continue painting. This time I'll paint wet on dry. I've left the masking fluid on my buildings, and so I'll just continue layering up with a little bit more detail. It's now time to let it dry again, and as soon as it's completely dry I can remove the masking fluid from the buildings using a clean finger, or you could use a rubber cement pickup or the tacky side of a piece of masking tape, which will do to remove the masking fluid. So you can see it's coming off of the buildings and the walls, and then once that's off I can brush off any crumbs with a dry brush, and then I can begin to paint in the lighthouse, and I can add any details that have kind of got lost, because sometimes the masking fluid can pull a little bit of detail off from your pencil work or sometimes from your line work. So just strengthening up that lighthouse shape a little bit more, because after all it is our focal point. And then I'm going to just paint in the features, these nice grey roofs which are so typical of Irish cottages and buildings. Beautiful slate roofs, and then I'll just paint in the walls and a few more details here and there, not too much but just enough to sort of blend the unpainted paper into the painting and sort of harmonise everything. The walls will kind of integrate the buildings into this rugged landscape. I'm mostly using a flat brush. I find a flat brush is really good for built structures like buildings, walls, things like that. It's naturally good at creating the shapes with very little brush strokes. You can just get those strokes in. And another name for the flat brushes like this are one-stroke brushes, for this very reason. Just a little bit of shadow across the lighthouse itself. But I am trying to keep this detail to a minimum, so I'm going to call that done and remove the tape and have a look at it and see how it looks. And I'm really pleased with this. It's got quite a calm, serene, quiet atmosphere, a real feeling of nightfall. And yet the lighthouse is still sort of catching the last rays of sun in the sky, which were created with using raw sienna and just leaving that paler patch of sky. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this favourite line and wash of mine. I'll be posting a few more of my favourites over the coming few weeks leading up to Christmas. That's my Christmas treat to myself, sort of looking back at some of the paintings that I really enjoyed demonstrating here for you. So many thanks for watching. Please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And many thanks to all our patrons who support this channel. And if you'd like to support us, then please follow the links below. I'll see you again soon. Take care and happy painting. Bye.